September 30th, the next to last day of the season, and needing just one more home run, he faced Tom Zachary of the Washington Senators.
The first Zachary offering was a fast one which sailed over for a called strike. The next was high. The Babe took a vicious swing at the third pitch ball, and the bat connected with a crash that was audible in all parts of the stand. While the crowd cheered and the Yankee players roared their greetings, the Babe made his triumphant, almost regal tour of the pads. And when he embedded his spikes in the rubber disc to officially homer 60, hats were tossed in the air, papers were torn up and tossed liberally, and the spirit of celebration permeated the place.
Babe Ruth, a legend in the baseball world. He began his career at the age of 20 and first signed with the Boston Red Sox. He hit 29 home runs on the team, but eventually the New York Yankees picked him up, and it all changed. Once he joined the Yankees, his home runs increased to 59 and finally broke the record in 1927 with 60. His record stood unbroken for at least 34 years. The Roaring Twenties was definitely the golden age for Babe Ruth. The Black Sox scandal of 1919 started out with a few gamblers trying to get rich and turned into one of the biggest, darkest events in baseball history. The 1919 World Series was between the White Sox and Cincinnati Reds. However, it was a fixed game of ideas. Two men stood out from the rest, Sleepy Bill and Billy Maharg. The players and conspirators are long gone, but the story long lives and baseball will forever be a loved American sport.
The first $1 million gate in boxing history at Boyle's 30 Acres, Jersey City, New Jersey, July 2nd, 1921. Scheduled for 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. Champion Jack Dempsey, challenger George Carpentier. Dempsey the bigger of the two and the heavier. Dempsey 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing 188 pounds. Carpentier 5'11 and a half, weighing 172. The attendance was 90,000, and the receipts $1,789,238. The attendance was the greatest crowd ever assembled for a boxing match, and the largest crowd ever assembled in America for any sporting event. Jack Dempsey advancing on George Carpentier, or Carpentier if you prefer the French pronunciation.
The fight in 1921 between Dempsey vs. Carpentier was the largest audience in history. The fight results shook the nation. Radio box for entertainment boomed in the 1920s. Historians see the fight as a key landmark for the Golden Age that helped expand media coverage, plus business promoters. Sports media was on the path to big business entertainment.
On August 20th, 1920, 7 men, including former college and pro football athlete Jim Thorpe, met to organize a pro football league. The first NFL game was played on September 26, 1920. However, it wasn't very organized through the 20s because it was still a young organization and teams came and left the league frequently. By 1934, all small-town teams except the Green Bay Packers had changed to big cities. It wasn't until the 1950s that pro football had become a major sport and the NFL had embraced TV. By the mid-60s, pro football surpassed baseball as Americans' favorite spectator sport. At the end of World War I, African American baseball had become the entertainment attraction for urban African American populations throughout the country. The Negro National League was born in Kansas City with 8 teams and remained successful through most of the 1920s. The second Negro National League was organized in Pittsburgh and was a dominant force in the African American baseball from 1933 through 1949. By 1949, there were 4 successful African American baseball leagues in the U.S. The East versus West All-Star Game of Negro baseball was the biggest attraction and moneymaker each year and showcased the Negro League's finest talent. Baseball's color barrier was broken on April 18, 1946, when Jackie Robinson signed to the Dodgers organization.